Today is Sunday, April 20th, 2025. And because of my content that I uploaded yesterday, which was also a test, I wanted to see how these criminals illegally surveilling me are going to respond. And they did, which means that I'm correct, okay? So this is my Facebook, all right? So this is a video that confirms that James Splinter and I were unmasking. So let's just take a look here. This video, I posted it on March the 30th, right? So I'm currently live because live videos cannot be, altered, okay? So I'm going to copy the link, all right? So now I'm going to go on my Instagram and I'm going to try and send it. Watch. Attachment unavailable, right? The complicit provincial government actors in the judiciary are using psychological harassment to, well, they want to kill me. They tried to stage it as a suicide. That's why they called me mentally deficient. And they're trying to incriminate James Splinter with murdering me. And they can't because this video here confirms that he loves me at a nervous system level. All right? And it's important to understand that these idiots are low IQ. And I am high IQ and definitely extremely mentally proficient. I'm literally testing these idiots, these degenerates, every flipping day. And I'm catching them. So right now, they're going to go after the Jewish dancers, my Jewish female friends. And I need you to support them because while we don't agree politically, they have shown me nothing but compassion and love. And I'm not going to mention their names. You know who they are, okay? I did unfriend them. Again, I always follow my gut. And my gut drives me to protect, whether it's the system, whether it's my friends, okay? But at the end of the day, these individuals do publicly hug me. These individuals I've met recently. These individuals are not involved in this, okay? And the Human Rights Tribunal of Ontario does know that I identified as Semitic on my applications because I was worried that they would, hate me. I don't know who they hate more, Arabs or Jews, but they definitely hate both of us, okay? And it's important to understand that in Ottawa Latin dance, we don't hate each other. We dance with each other regularly, and on a balance of probabilities, we're probably all high IQ autistic or neurodivergent, okay? And that's why Ottawa dance is really important, and that's why we need to support James Splinter, okay? And also, they're targeting me because I'm really smart, because I want an education, because I hate racism, and because I'm a Canadian citizen, okay? So, yeah, I was emailing this, messaging. Kaylin Partlow, she's an autistic advocate. She is a blonde Caucasian female who recently posted a video about police cruelty that ended the life of a lower IQ autistic racialized man named Victor Perez, okay? And that suggests that she understands this concept really well. And because I am concerned that the DSM-5 has been manipulated by removing Asperger's, and I think they did that in order to basically allow corrupt actors in judiciaries, including our Ontario judiciary, these white feminist females that hate all smart people, including smart white women, and generally target racialized men and racialized women like myself. But they are targeting James Splinter, and they are actively suppressing the content that makes him look good, but they're actively promoting the content about racism because that's what they wanted me to believe, okay? I had no idea what they posted about me on the internet. And so when I did my project and my Arab Tino project and I was stimming, I had no idea I was stimming and that I was getting out of autistic shutdown. They did not want me to be in the same room as James Splinter. That's why they sent Tara Lynn Howlett, and Tara Lynn Howlett did everything that she did with Tala Cameron. That's why they wrote everything down. They're trying to create a trail of evidence. James Splinter was always the backup, so that when they actually murder me, they can just pin it on him as a hate crime. That's why Naomi Remy and Chi set up December 29, 2024. They kept on provoking me, and I was able to access that Facebook invite. James didn't know I was going. That's why he was caught off guard. He wasn't waiting for me to arrive. But Naomi was. She smirked and smiled, exactly like Rita Lee Hart smirked and smiled after she did what she did at Studio X. And so, definitely this is conspiracy to commit murder and commit fraud and high treason. If the government is suppressing the evidence, but not deleting my account because they think I'm too stupid to pick up on it, well, guess what? You're even dumber than the person that you think is stupid, because I'm testing you. I'm in full control here. And I am a million steps ahead. The evidence has left Canada. Okay? You need to stop harassing me and harassing all the people around me in the Ottawa and dance community. I have reason to believe that they are illegally surveilling all dance socials, at least in Ontario, because I only have evidence tying at least one Crown attorney to participating in creating a criminal record by proxy on the internet, because she thought that my name was Ola Bisiso. And that suggests that they're not really as powerful as they want us to believe, because they had no clue that I legally changed my name during the same year that they were trying to basically create a criminal record for me via proxy. And they're trying to validate it by provoking me and inducing autistic shutdown so that they can video record me doing something that they're going to basically misrepresent as criminal harassment or as whatever they want. And that's exactly what they're doing to James Diego Splinter. Okay? And this is exactly what they will be doing to the Jewish female dancers next. Okay? They have to be held accountable. This is a live. Lives cannot be altered. I just showed you, just literally showed you that you can try this yourself. Like, this is public, and let's just make sure that you understand that this is public. Like, this is my account, all right? My account. I can edit whatever I want. My content is supposed to be public. All of my content is public, all right? When you love someone at an autistic level, you unmask in front of them. Because neither one of us is clinically diagnosed. I don't even know how one would get that, okay? As high IQ autistic, that's because we're that high IQ that we don't even know, okay? And this is essentially why this evidence is why James Splinter cannot hate me, okay? Because his nervous system literally is in love with me. And my nervous system is literally in love with him. And that is why, out of all the women in Ottawa Latin Dance, this group of degenerates led by Tara Lynn Howlett targeted me. This is why Callie Cameron invested so much time trying to break me, trying to make me feel like there's something wrong about what I noticed. Because what I noticed is their basically complicit, deliberate plan to validate the narrative that the Human Rights Tribunal of Ontario created about me online. That's what they're doing the whole flipping time. This is conspiracy to everything, to destroy evidence, to change the public record, high treason, attempted murder, all of it, because it is well documented that the ideation rates for people with neurodivergence and autism, well, it's higher than autistics. They were hoping I would kill myself. And I'm not intending on killing myself. I'm a Ghazian-born Palestinian Canadian. There's nobody more dedicated to wanting to live as much as I am, okay? And, so, also, let's just take a look at something here while I have this live going on. Yeah, these idiots don't understand that I'm testing them. They think that they can keep lying and keep suppressing, okay? And I need your help to make sure everybody that you know knows what's happening, and that anybody you know attached to the media or whatever basically gets direction on this. Now, of course, if they delete this account, yes, everything's recorded. I'm sure a lot of you have already recorded it, but it's going to also be admission of conspiracy to commit fraud as well as high treason. So really, they literally are going to be held accountable. Whether I live or die, they will be held accountable. Okay, and I really hope that James Splinter is, being supported by all of you. And also he needs to stop being in isolation, because the more he's in isolation, the more he will loop and the more that they will lie about him, okay? So, yeah. Also download, record my novel. It's evidence, right? I just want to show you something here. Yeah, so this was the test from yesterday, as you can see 18 hours ago, where I pretty much spell out what they're doing. And that's why they basically suppressed the links that prove that James Splinter cannot possibly biologically hate me. It's just impossible, all right? Because of how we unmasked in front of each other, okay? And how they created all the havoc literally a few days after that dance, okay? So this here, this implicates Chi in all of this, okay? Because he asked me, I asked him about attending, and he let me attend, and James Splinter had no clue that I was attending. As you can see, he knew I was coming. But he's the one that kicked me out on December 29, 2024 to humiliate me after talking to James Splinter. And as you can see here, this was the impression that I got because I was under artistic shutdown.
More of the same that I experienced.
I don't have 1,000 followers, people. This is being marketed, all right? I have like 333 friends only recently.
Just so that it's clear.
They are marketing the content that they want to criminalize James Splinter, and then they are covering up and killing the content that doesn't, okay? This is deliberate. They've been working on this for a long time, okay? Psychological harassment. Deliberate. White feminism. Women in the judiciary. I have reason to believe that Jill Cameron is involved. I also have reason to believe that the vice chair of the Human Rights Tribunal of Ontario is being paid or blackmailed into submission to do this because, like I said, I proved it. I'll just show you.
People that are engaging in fraud in the public interest. So let's just be clear. I was targeted by the Human Rights Tribunal of Ontario on the exact same day I confirmed to them that my name legally changed. And that was the same day that Vice Chair Ramona Ganantham released her disgusting fraud of a decision in order to start the process of ruining my reputation that they actually started before then because they thought that my legal name was different. This is deliberate, and our legal system is hiring a bunch.
So I just want to be clear that it is literally impossible to release a CanLII decision on the exact same day that one would actually date it. And because I withheld my legal name change from the Human Rights Tribunal of Ontario for a few years, again, you've seen my legal name change certificate. It's dated for 2017, but they started smear campaigning my Arabic name after it changed. Okay, and they wanted to create a criminal record by proxy by incriminating a man who also clearly autistic because he called the police on himself. Okay, so they induced shutdown in that man in order to piggyback off of the similarities in the last name, and they didn't care about the fact that they were lying. And not only that, but it was done in his absenteeism. Like he wasn't even present according to the Supreme Court decision. And according to the same decision, he called the police on himself. That is not evidence of criminality, okay, at all. It's evidence of not wanting to hurt anybody, and also evidence of what would be considered an autistic meltdown, okay? And this is why they removed the Asperger's out of the DSM-5. They want to be able to manipulate people and basically criminalize them to cover up real crimes, okay, that are happening by people who are, appointed to roles in the judiciary, at least in Ontario. Okay, yeah, I do have a clip of that.
Engage in man hate. It is not okay to be racist. It is
this is
around harassing
legal
men.
name change certificate. Hold on.
Basic evidence that okay. And they also said it's for my own personal use because they, again, assumed that they could get away with this type of fraud and literally assassinating people's characters online, which includes treating them like they're disposable.
I have no criminal record, and I also made that very clear. And I posted all of this. Look at this video definitely being spread by word of mouth, and they are trying to suppress it. So over almost 800 views. This incriminates white lawyers, Daryl Horeliak and Maureen Doyle, in conspiracy to commit fraud. I mean, they are literally interviewing a non-witness that was never in Canada the whole time, and also acting like I am out of line for claiming that this is perjury. And also this showcases how intelligent I am, and how in control I am, and how you need two white lawyers, a white man with a white penis and a white woman with a white vagina, basically thinking that, okay, like I'm just like a Semite. And they didn't know that I'm Palestinian here, by the way. They just thought that I was either Jewish or Arab. And that's just equally as repugnant and disgusting because they are anti-Semitic, whether you want to accept it or not. That's the only thing that I declared on my application, okay? Because I know that they hate all of us, all right? And that's the feminist mentality, all right? Now, just look at the numbers, right? Like, to be so low after getting such thousands and thousands of views, again, it just does not make sense unless I'm actively being suppressed. So, yeah. Right. Also this was a live 362 views. Again, Daryl
So this is
Haraliak is
document.
intimately involved,
Daryl
okay?
Haraliak's involved.
And he should be investigated. Yes. So this is
Today
evidence
is Friday, April 11, 2025.
of what they wrote
They
about me on
are
the internet.
actively trying to get rid of the evidence, linking them to the deliberate fraud and defamation campaign that's actually criminal harassment, not just through third parties, through the Queen, Her Majesty the Queen herself. Your recording as an accommodation is Asperger's has been acknowledged as
There we go.
Open Education Alberta. Like, why do people in Alberta have to know about me when I live in Ontario? That's a whole other question. And look, difficult interviewee, reluctant interviewees, non-answer answers, challenging or manipulative people, hostile or violent people, individuals with neurodiversity, literally listing autism, the first order of business, right? And then listing me by first and last name, listing this very specific Ramona Ganantham defamation and her withholding.
Yeah, again, you know, like, you can't make this stuff up, okay? Like, I already showed you. I literally showed you. Literally showed you. This is all made up. They are liars, and our judicial system is compromised.
Is the kind of thing
okay?
that I also...
And they hate all of you,
Ontario,
all of us,
the exact same
Jewish
day,
white
I
people,
confirmed
smart
to
white
them that my
people,
name
white
legally
men.
changed.
You know,
And that was the
these
same day
white
that
feminist
Vice Chair
females,
Ramona
they have to be
Ganantham
investigated, okay?
released her disgusting fraud of a...
And the Crown Attorney attached to that man, and, you know, has to be investigated. She's doing this, and maybe, I mean, why else do people do stuff like this? I mean, like, okay, they could be, like, motivated by religion, but ultimately there's probably money involved, okay? And that has to be investigated. Now, I wanted to show you that I have no criminal record and how many views those got. Because, again, like, idiots always lose control over their own narrative very quickly, right? Again, look at the suppressed views. This is evidence of how, you know, Maureen Doyle is rude and disrespectful and frustrated that she just could not gaslight me and speak over me. Like, I noticed everything that she did. So, hold on a second. Yeah, this explains the amount of money. I guess we'll take a look at this.
Please pay attention. It's very important. You see the Human Rights Tribunal of Ontario...
We'll return to that momentarily. Yeah, they're trying to delete all of my high IQ achievements. Also, just understand, racialized women with high IQ autism are not studied because they don't see us as people. Like, the majority of psychological research focuses on white men, and it's neurotypical researchers that conduct it. There we go, my police record check, all right? Legal name change certificate. I have no criminal record. Alright, so let's just be clear. 659 individuals saw this. I only have baseline 300. I'm just getting a lot of friend requests, which is fantastic. Yeah, again, just look at all the suppressed content, right? Yeah, I've literally been recognized and achieved since I moved to Canada in grade 4. And not only that, I even posted my references confirming my achievements and how I don't have any problems working so long as people I'm working with are not racist. And honestly, all of my references are well, two of them that I included here are Caucasians, a Caucasian woman who's an entrepreneur, lovely human being. And the other person is an American man, again, highly educated. And the third person is a Persian American who was a professor, like, visiting Carleton University. And yeah, the fact that I maintain these relationships is important. And I also included all of my certificates and achievements because I actually was removed out of like ESL very quickly because I learned languages very fast. I finished grade 13 physics like in grade 11, right? I mean, in things that I really loved, like financial crises, like the Spanish language, like I literally got A pluses, okay? Really difficult subject matter like that. Things that I didn't really enjoy, like microeconomics, you know? Yeah, I think I probably got like an A or an A minus, right? I really did not enjoy learning French. So like, I mean, I probably got A minuses, but I probably also had like a B plus or something like that. Yeah. Yeah. When I started stimming, they really started suppressing me because it's evidence of the fact that I am really high IQ because it looks like art. And by the way, all this is not choreographed. It's just natural. That's why I film lives. And it's to prove that I am beyond mentally proficient. Like I am very high IQ, okay? And this is why they're trying to call me mentally deficient. And again, the normative approach to people who have mental deficiencies is to show them compassion and not target them and humiliate them online, which is another reason why they have provided more than a breadcrumbs trail of their complicity to engage in fraud. And in that they've always recognized my IQ as being really high. Okay. Yeah, like the video, over 400 views under suppression. Also, I explained very clearly how it is well established, even ChatGPT confirms it, how high IQ autism works. So yeah, it's established. Just go on ChatGPT. This is how rare James Splinter and myself are. We're like 0.1 to 0.2% of the general population, where we're both autistic and high IQ. And this is actually a superpower because we are not impulsive and we can't be manipulated, really. The only time that they can do something to us is when they shut us down with fear, right? And because I'm not white, I don't really have the privilege of staying, in shutdown. And that's why I walked through it. And that's why, like, the research doesn't give these women ammunition towards me because I'm not represented in the research, so they can't subdue me, really. Dance communities attract, you see that? It's well known that dance communities attract neurodivergent people through sensory and rhythmic regulation. This is why Tarlyn Howlett is a psychotherapist, and this is why she watches us, and this is why she recruits women under the Latin Sisterhood project to also spy on other women. And this is why she actively, stuck herself up James Splinter's bum. And this is why she actively pursued me along with Tala Cameron in order to create a fake track record of fake evidence that they're making up in order to basically have me murdered and pin it on James Splinter. And now that I've hopefully made that impossible, it doesn't mean that they won't target him in the future as he continues to be more successful, but it suggests that they're going to go after my Jewish dance friends, my Jewish female dance friends, because that's their MO, okay? That's what they do, all right? And they're trying to cover up their fraud, and they want me dead, all right? That's why they talked about mental deficiency. This is established. And this is why they're hiding my content on high IQ autism, all right? And this is why they're hiding the evidence that proves that James Splinter loves me literally at a nervous system level, even before his mind knew it, even before I knew it. And it's dated, all right? So, again, I wanted to get to the, again, these tells are established, okay? Everyone knows what high IQ autistics do. I've done all of these while I'm dancing. It's definitely 100%. This is why I'm high IQ autistic, because I didn't even know that I was autistic. That's how good I am at masking. Ay. All right. I'm trying to show you my top secret active clearance and how many views it got. There we are. 377. Are you going to defraud these emails? Are you going to also kill these people? Like, what are you going to do? Illegal stalkers of mine attached to the judiciary? Really? Look at the date, April 6, 2023. That's actually one of the beautiful things about how slow the government is that it really confirms that I have all these clearances, And it also means that these fraudsters, these degenerates, can't easily engage in fraud because it takes them forever to access information, which explains the urgency in Ramona Guinentam's decision to release and somehow overpass every single, system checkpoint, which takes literally months to publish a decision on Ken Lee, but to somehow get it on Ken Lee the same day. The individuals, that monitor the uploading of information on Google are compromised, and they need to also be investigated for their role in conspiracy to commit fraud, conspiracy to commit murder. And it is murder to knowingly know somebody is neurodivergent and then to shut them down so that they can commit suicide by basically smear campaigning them on the internet so nobody would hire them. The amount of times I sent my resume to people and they loved me and they interviewed me and then all of a sudden they had like a quick sudden change, but it wasn't out of hate, it was like out of fear, out of weird compassion that made no sense. It's exactly why I thought James was a racist, because I had no idea that these things were about me on the internet and that he was like stuck between his feelings, what he witnessed with his own eyes, and what these big institutions with fake authority, were claiming about me. That's why I forgive him. He's not a racist. They put him in a position of conflict between information that he believed to be true, that anyone would believe to be true if they did not know the full story, which is why I had to come forward, but only after I wrote my novel, only after I gathered the evidence, only after I publicly tested, because I've proven that they are still illegally surveilling me, guys. And if they're doing it to me, they're doing it to all of you. And dance scenes are being illegally surveilled by compromised people like Tarlyn Howlett, who are working for the judiciary to identify high IQ autistics before we even know ourselves, to induce autistic shutdown, and to basically pin us with any crime that they want, including murdering us, including pushing us to kill our own selves. And a public inquiry needs to happen to identify how many people actually did commit suicide since filing with the Human Rights Tribunal of Ontario, and to also uncover all of the private conversations on personal devices that are not government devices, where these women are conspiring together, okay? This is not random. This is not made up. It's real life, okay? And everyone's at risk. My Jewish friends are at risk. My white man friend, James Splinter, is at risk. I'm at risk, and really, this is all about trying to kill me because of the evidence that I have, presented. And they will do this to all of you because these women have been getting away with it for a really long time, even before Tribunals Ontario took over, because my first application was before Tribunals Ontario took over. I actually filed it on January 1st, 2015. I wrote it on New Year's Eve. I wanted to calculate how long it will take. I didn't have any idea that it would be this repugnant, but it's important that we now know the truth and we work together to save Canada, because Canada matters and Canadian social cohesion matters, okay? And we can do this, and we are doing it. That's why they're scared and they're suppressing the evidence, because it is accurate and it is true. They've done so much to harm me because they understand that I love this country. They don't love Canada. That's why they're engaging in crimes that are punishable, by the Canadian Criminal Code, okay? Yes, my top secret clearance application. Definitely let them know that I'm Palestinian. Definitely let them know my Arabic name, I'm as honest is, okay? And, the live is actually happening right now. Isn't that amazing? I'm as honest is, okay? And what else do I want to say while this live is happening? Yeah, definitely this needs to be on the media. I need help with that because the media only cares about white feminist women and their agenda. So I need white women who are not cruel, who are my friends, to use their white female faces to help me and stand up for Canada, okay? Just like now that I'm not in autistic shutdown, I'm revisiting all the evidence, and really James Splinter and I are being set up psychologically, and Tarlyn Cameron are 1,000,000% involved because they wrote everything down, guys. Everything down. I mean, the screenshots for Rita, it's all just so obvious. So obvious. Incredibly obvious. I'm just going to go over that. And when I posted my actual conversations with James Splinter, like, they show nothing but a sophisticated, classy man who's smart talking to me, and I'm the same, right? And yeah, look, like, she literally closed down her professional account, made it private. She's in Mexico hiding. Please screen record this video and download anything that you want to download. All of my ChatGPT conversations, I actually got permission from ChatGPT to record them, just so it's clear. And ChatGPT doesn't have feelings, so really, like, this is really happening, okay? And what else do I want to comment on? Yeah, this video is also evidence. This is me dancing at home. Last year, I had no idea that I was autistic. Look at all of the unmasking. This is when they started to recognize that I know what's going on. And that's why they started suppressing me. Because this is psychological harassment, okay? It is psychological harassment. Yeah, so why did I send a message to that, you know, Instagrammer? I don't know her, right?
Victor
This one.
Perez should still be alive. Victor was 17, autistic, non-speaking, and had cerebral palsy. His life was ended by 9 shots from law enforcement. On the day it happened, Victor was in the backyard with his family where he had gotten upset, which is what caused the neighbors to notice and then call 911. The caller said Victor was holding a knife and periodically chasing a man and a woman in the yard.
So do you hear that? Holding a knife. That's why they video recorded James Splinter throwing an axe. That's why they took the opportunity of my International Women's Dance, where I danced with a fake knife prop, to file police reports. Okay? They definitely needed James to be afraid for his own safety, because he loved me. I loved him at an autistic level. Autistic, okay? Meaning, like, we didn't ever profess this. We didn't actually ever date. Like, this is like a neurological phenomenon that's well established in the literature. And that's how I found out that I'm autistic. And he probably is, like, wondering if he is. Okay? I mean, the unmasking, that's not... it's involuntary. It's subconscious. And we were doing it the whole time. We just had no idea. And Tarlyn Hallett knew. And this is why she trained Naomi Remy, she trained Rita Lehartz to basically intervene sexually every time they saw anybody that remotely reminded him of me, like Lebanese Jess, you know, dancing with him, or if they ever saw me sitting next to him, or if I was dancing with him. Yeah, Rita Lehartz and Naomi Remy, I mean, the smirk that they had on their face, it was a really odd smile. And of course, I noticed that it never left my mind, and it was a parallel. But also, Naomi Remy sent me Lisa Nugent when I took a break from dancing last summer. And Rita Lehartz continued to spread misinformation about me and essentially claimed that I have a criminal record, that I've been charged for her harassment. And when she was asked by John West to prove it, you know, because she's asking to eliminate me from all dance. And again, the elimination is simply because they don't want me to regulate the room and to be liked, because my very presence helps people feel better, just like James Splinter. And they didn't want me to be around James Splinter because, you know, when you induce autistic shutdown and you're in the same room as another high IQ autistic, you actually are regulating, and it helps you get out of autistic shutdown. So it gives you clarity. And so, yeah, Rita Lehart's definitely in on this. Ottawa Police is definitely receiving instructions, I mean, on a balance of probabilities, from the same Crown Attorney that is attached to the Supreme Court ruling in absentia of the man that they linked my previous legal name via indexing on Google, which I believe they can't reverse right now. They're probably trying, but you know, there's an archival process that happens with metadata, and especially with like third-party applications, like especially academia, they're not required to review references. So even though they did delist the HRTO decisions by Ramona Guinentham, you know, off of Google, they're still available on CanLII. And, you know, if they do delete them off of CanLII, well, that means they're going to have to produce new decisions and claim that I'm like delusional or something and that this is all made up. But they don't want to do that because the evidence that I have has already left Canada, guys. It's already left Canada, okay? They need a court order to get it off of various platforms. And not only that, okay? People have already tried to reverse some of the hidden links, all right? Meaning that people are on my side now, and whether I live or die, it does not matter. The truth is already out. The fact that they're suppressing my unmasking video with James Splinter from being shared despite me making it public is evidence that they are continuing to illegally surveillance me and trying to cover this up. It also says that they have criminal intention that is not good towards James Splinter, all right? It also explains why Tarlyn Hallett is hiding in Mexico, why she made her account private, why she started deleting her support of the fake Miami trips that confirm that James Splinter is under autistic shutdown, okay? And if you look at all the photos on Naomi's account with James Splinter, you can tell that he doesn't want to be there, okay? Look at how his feet are pointing. They're never pointing towards her because he doesn't want to be there. He wants to leave, all right? I require assistance from people who trust people, you know, in the judiciary. I don't really know who you need to go to, whether it is the RCMP, CSIS, I don't know. But all I know is that they 100% are intent on wanting me to end my own life. And that's why they wrote the things that they wrote online about claiming that I describe myself as being mentally deficient when they've known me and interacted with me since 2015. I'm anything but that. And, you know, this is alive. Do I sound mentally deficient to you, right? Look at all my content. Is it just like totally random and weird to get like almost 2,000 views on anything that describes James Splinter inaccurately as being racist? Because the whole time I didn't know that they were shit-talking me on the internet. And he read everything and he got scared despite having feelings for me. And that's why he never physically hurt me, okay? But then he had all these women, including Naomi Remy, whispering in his ear, copying me, literally wearing a wig that looks like my hair, okay? And the amount of hate that started when I launched Arabtino, they wanted me to believe that it's racism because clearly I'm showcasing my culture while there's an active genocide against my people recognized by the International Criminal Court, okay? And they don't like that the Jewish female dancers like me. They don't like that. Literally my instant reaction when I met one of them at Chi's event after the events of October was instantly just to hug her. I mean, her mother lives there, okay? Like, they're human, all right? And everybody, regardless of which religious background they come from, they are, to a certain level, you know, brainwashed by political religion. They really believe the things that they believe, okay? And that is part of the fear destabilization, okay? And ideas can change. So I'm pretty sure they tried to create a narrative about, you know, that sort of stereotypes about being Arab. But the thing is that I've been publicly not politically religious for quite some time. And I'm still accepted in my circles and my communities, okay? And on top of that, like, I've never supported hummus. And I explained in detail why, you know? Like, I want democracy. I want the rule of law. And they don't represent that. But I also believe in the rule of law when you are trying to incriminate people. Like, you can't just randomly end people's lives just because of the way you were raised and because of fears that you have without evidence, okay? And that's essentially what the Human Rights Tribunal of Ontario and the judiciary here in Ontario is trying to do. Lie about facts, suppress evidence. They don't want the public to know the truth. And they understand that I understand that going to the police is not going to do anything unless the police is also investigated, right? Explain to me why Rita Leigh Hartz did not get a criminal harassment charge. Because she was hired to do that. Okay? And they wanted me to believe that the rumors that were published about him on the internet before I met him by just mere weeks. I mean, they were probably surveilling my accounts and they knew that I was going to return to dancing. Okay? I was just kind of afraid of COVID at that point, right? And so all of this is not coincidental. It's organized. They've been surveilling me illegally for a very long time. Very long time. And it's important to understand that the Information Privacy Commissioner's Office is failing us because all these meta platforms and how they facilitate the breach of privacy and all of this, like, you know, complicity to character assassinate online to cover up fraud, you know, like fraud using Her Royal Majesty the Queen is incredibly disgusting, okay? And I've proven repeatedly, especially by withholding Chapter 26, and then in front of you demonstrating all of my experiments and asking you to Google them yourself after I showed you the truth. And then, like, within 24 hours, all that disappearing, all of you understood that I'm being framed, and all of you understand that James is being defamed as well. And all of you understand that he's surrounded by these toxic women and Tyler Cameron. Okay? You've seen all the conversations. None of them were with James Splinter. They were all with Tyler Cameron or Tarlin Howlett. And Tarlin Howlett trying to make it seem like I accused him of sexual misconduct when I have my conversations recorded with Nadej, and you saw that I tried to hold Nadej accountable. She could possibly be in on this too. Like, why else would she give me the surveillance footage of Rita kissing James like that? Why? Why would Tarlin Howlett tell me that he's single to make it sound like he could possibly be dating Rita? And with all my respect to Rita, like, you know, he's out of her league, okay? It's just not, it's not like something that is feasibly possible, all right? There's a lot going on here, and it's 100,000,000% based on the evidence that I provided, based on the parallels, based on the pattern logic, okay? And based on the fact that I literally met the 2 Jewish dancers this weekend, and one of them, I swear, okay, approached me with nothing but love in her heart and hugged me. She clearly saw my content, okay? Now, I am prompted internally to do certain things, like what I've realized now, it's like to protect people, you know, like distancing, like removing James off of all of my socials. I think it was my subconscious the entire time trying to protect him, okay? And same thing, unfriending my Jewish friends, but keeping my account open and still, you know, greeting them and making sure that there's no hate. It was all subconscious because I'm a high IQ autistic, and they were suppressing me with fear destabilization over a decade. Literally shit-talking me on the internet because I've never used my legal name anywhere on the internet. Now I had to because they're defaming me on the internet, and legally I have the right to stand up for myself. And yes, I did consult a white man lawyer about sharing all of the evidence, and he literally told me it's very obvious what's happening here. And also, I have the complete right to access all of my own information and share my own information. They don't have that right. In fact, they can't share nothing without my consent, and I do not consent for them speaking on my behalf, revealing any information about me, because they legally cannot, and also they're liars.